Hello, welcome to my Masterclass Twisted League guide. It has taken me over 150 hours just to make this guide, and another 500 plus hours playing on my Zeah only Iron Man account just to have all the knowledge that I'm about to share with all of you in this video. If you learn even one single thing from this video, it would really help me a lot if you could leave a like. And consider subscribing if you want to see some more RuneScape content from a creator who cares a lot about his content. A few things to explain before we get started. First, I created a document which discusses the entirety of this guide, and it will be linked in the description for your viewing pleasure. Secondly, I have a currently running Zeah only series and a whole playlist of Zeah only Iron Man videos you can check out if you want to learn more about Zeah. Thirdly, this guide, while it may be really long, does not include everything you will ever need to know about Zeah. For that, check out my Zeah only Iron Man series, check out my Zeah only guide playlist, or join in on the conversation in my RuneScape clan chat Zeah Hero. This guide should have everything you need to know for the first half of progressing your account, like quests, perks, hidden shops, and other tips to get started. This guide should also have quite a bit about the second half of progression, which involves endgame content like bossing, slayer, and raids. Some information is repeated in different sections of the guide. That is for your ease of choice to jump through the guide if you choose so. That way there aren't glaring gaps in things while I explain the content. Lastly, I don't really want to tell people exactly how to play the Twisted League because surely your game plan will change as you play, no matter how much you follow mine. On that note, towards the end of this video, I do give an example of how to plan out an efficient start. Don't skip there yet. There will be several details you'll miss that will aid you far more than a step-by-step guide. Besides, if a lot of people see this, then everyone will be doing it, thus it will likely be broken. Instead, I want to lay out everything I know so that you can build your own plan. Use this guide as your ultimate reference to build your own plan. In the YouTube description are timestamps to help you jump between sections of this video. I suggest you listen to the whole video first, then revisit any section you please. Also, the very last thing before we start, while this guide is intended for Twisted League, it can also be followed by anyone inspired to create a Zeah only account on a normal RuneScape server. So, let's get started. What is the Twisted League? The Twisted League is a game mode similar to Deadman mode, where the player will start with a fresh Iron Man account locked to Zeah only. Anyone can participate in the league as long as they have a member's account to play on. Everyone participating in the league will start off as a fresh account in a Twisted League game world. To customize your gameplay, you will be given the option to pick a relic from the very start, which will shape the way your account will progress. The Twisted League will start on November 14th, 2019, and it will last for 2 months. During that time, players must complete tasks in the region to obtain points. These points will be used to unlock relics for the League worlds and can later be used to unlock cosmetic rewards in the main game. The more Twisted League tasks you complete, the more points you get, and the more relics you can unlock, furthering to enhance your gameplay experience. Upon logging in for your first time, your starting point and your respawn point will be set to the Kourend Castle. You can expect accelerated XP rates from the start as well. It has been mentioned, though not confirmed, that the XP rates will be accelerated by 5 times. It has also been mentioned, though also not yet been confirmed, that some items, or maybe all items, will have a higher rate of being dropped to enhance progress within the 2-month Twisted League game mode. And one last thing that has been mentioned, though not yet confirmed, the Chambers of Xerix may be nerfed slightly. It is rumored that Jagex is going to slightly nerf the Chambers of Xerix, since you can't obtain normal game high tier gear like the blowpipe, the best in slot magical staves, and God Warriors gear. Rules and regulations. The respawn location is set to Kourend Castle. Ports, aside from the one that takes you from Piscarilius docks to Land's End, will not work. All teleports will only work if the destination is within Kourend or Kebos. The Ancient and Lunar spellbooks will not be accessible. All clues obtained will only have steps that can be completed within Kourend and Kebos. Iron Man mode will have accelerated XP rates. It is not confirmed, but rumored to be 5 times XP rate. You will be set as an Iron Man upon account creation. This is not changeable. No trading will take place between players. Shops will have increased supplies and accelerated restocking rates to accommodate the number of Iron Man players on Kourend and Kebos. Twisted League exceptions granted by Jagex. You will start out with a fresh account with the basic stats, besides the following, to allow for the ability to do barbarian fishing and train Herblore. Your Herblore level will start out at level 3, and your agility level will start out at level 15. It is worth immediately noting, while Jagex may not provide us with a barbarian fishing rod up front, it is still possible to buy an equipable barbarian fishing rod with Mulk Pearls earned from the aerial fishing minigame. The aerial fishing minigame can be found on Mulk Island. These details will be discussed more later. Quest unlocks. In order to be able to obtain and create certain items or level specific skills, you will also have the following quests unlocked when starting. Druidic Ritual, required for being able to train Herblore. Dragon Slayer, and Rune Mysteries. Now with Dragon Slayer, this is not something that Zeah Ironmen had the ability to do, even if they wanted to, without ruining their account. Having access to the Rune Plate Body will be nice, but it's not required at all. However, it can be obtained from Brimstone chests. There is no information about whether or not we will be able to obtain a Dragonfire Shield. However, with the completion of Dragon Slayer, this does mean we can now make anti-fire potions to help us when killing dragons. This will be key, mostly against metal dragons though, when going for the rune crossbow limbs, and the anti-fire potion should also help later with brutal dragons. As for Rune Mysteries goes, as an experienced Zeah only player, I don't understand why this quest would need to be unlocked. It's not required to perform any of the runecrafting activities available on Zeah, including blood or soul rune crafting. So there may be some hidden reason about Rune Mysteries. I'm not sure, you guys might want to look into that. Slayer unlocks. You can start Slayer from level 5 combat by speaking to Konar. She has a brand new Kourend and Kebos defined task list, which includes some new tasks specific to the Twisted League. Her tasks will no longer have area restrictions, but will still reward Brimstone Keys. How pets earned during leagues work. Any pet obtained during this league, after insuring it, will transfer over into the next league event for you to use then. For example, if you get the Olm pet in this league, and if you insure it, if the next league is in Mauritania, you can pull out and show off your Olm pet on your fresh level 3 Mauritania Iron Man account. Rewards and how they work. Rewards will be tiered to ensure the players who participate are rewarded for the effort they put into the league. There's a bronze tier awarded at minimum point threshold, iron tier awarded to the top 80%, steel tier to the top 60%, mithril to the top 40%, adamant to the top 20%, rune to the top 5%, and dragon to the top 1% of players who participated in the Twisted League. Rewards gained will fall under two categories: League to League and Main Game. League to League rewards will only appear in the league after the Twisted League, and they are meant to show off how well you did in previous leagues. The rewards consist of insured pets carrying over, just as discussed. You will also earn a unique symbol, which is placed next to your name when a player right-clicks you, and it will represent the tier that you placed in at the end of the previous league. Another reward is Mithril, Adamant, and Rune League-specific worlds. They will be accessible based on the tier you ranked in the previous league. If you ranked in a higher tier, such as Dragon, you can use all of the rank worlds. Similarly, if you ranked in the Adamant tier, you can access both the Adamant and Mithril rank worlds. Lastly, based on how you placed in the previous league, you will be rewarded an armor set that can be used in the next one. This armor set will be a basic starter set of armor with a weapon, each with varying stats that can assist in early game gameplay of the following league. The next set of rewards is called Main Game Rewards. Your league points will transfer to the main game as currency to spend in a league reward store. These rewards still need to be pulled, and I won't go over them here, but go vote on your favorites. In conclusion, that wraps up our introduction to the Twisted League. Now, let's discuss all the info you will need to know before starting on your journey. Main attractions. There are tens, if not hundreds of different things to do, see, or learn about in Zeah, some of which will distinguish you from the rest of the players. I've made a small list of the main points that, if you utilize what they offer, you will undoubtedly have the edge over the other players. The main attractions on Zeah include the Vinery, the Forthos Dungeon, Crab Call Island, Saltpeter, Mess Hall, Hosidius Range, Kourend Woodland, the Chasm of Fire, Lizardman Canyon, the Kourend Castle, Frankie's Fishing Emporium, Arceuus Library, the Dark Altar, Dark Essence Mines, Wintertod Prison, Lovakengj Mine, Shayzien Wall, Mount Quidamortum, the Lizardman Temple, Lake Mulk, Kebo's Swamp, the Battlefront, Mount Kourend, and many, many more yet to come. At the Vinery, you can use that to grow grapes, potentially Zamorak grapes. That's a tip. Forthos Dungeon is the home of Sarachnis and the home of the Miniquest In Search of Knowledge. Crabclaw Island allows you to pay a fee to have a less crowded AFK combat training method on sand crabs. However, that's probably going to be packed during the Twisted League. Saltpeter has a spirit tree patch here, and there's one in the Farming Guild as well, which can be used to teleport between later on. The Mess Hall provides the fastest cooking method on Zeah. The Hosidius range reduces the burn rate chance while cooking food on it. The Kourend woodland is ripe with woodcutting, firemaking, hunter, and other low-level activities. The Chasm of Fire is the lair of demons, lesser, greater, and black demons, complete with many save spots for low levels. The Lizardman Canyon is the best place to kill masses of lizardmen for the Xeric's Talisman drop, which is dropped at a rate of 1 in 250. The Kourend Castle is the main respawn point. The courtyard is home to the Cake and Gem Stall, among other useful people and stalls. Frankie's Fishing Emporium is one of the best ways to gather or sell fish in the entire game. That's a big tip. The Arceuus Library is the only place to train levels 1 through 77 in Runecrafting on Zeah. The Dark Altar is great for killing ensouled heads en masse, for making dense essence blocks, and for changing between standard and necromancy spellbooks. In the Dark Essence Mines, you can mine essence blocks, and then you can chisel them for crafting XP. This method is used heavily for blood and soul runecrafting. The Wintertod Prison is where 50 to 99 firemaking should be done as soon as possible. The Lovakengj Mine is the only place to mine Lovakengj ore, in case you wish to do so for gaining Lovakengj favor. Shayzien Wall, there's a gentleman here who will teleport you past the swamp directly to Mount Quidamortum. If you talk to him, then talk to his researcher system on Mount Quidamortum, then return back to him. Mount Quidamortum is the home of the Chambers of Xeric, and just to its south is where barbarian fishing can be done. The Lizardman Temple is home to the Lizardmen above, and below the temple are stone chests and the best place to kill Lizardmen shamans. Lake Mulk has 3 boats which can take you to and from Mulk Island in the middle, but rarely are these boats ever recognized as a method for traveling quickly from Shayzien to Mount Kourend, and it's definitely something that should be used if a battlefront teleport is not available. To the southwest of the Kebo's Swamp, a new low-level Crimson Swift spawn has been added here. While it may be dangerous to get here as a level 3, it is a great way to start Hunter after a few combat levels have been gained. Northwest of the Battlefront is a grave where the Necromancy Spellbook Teleport, Battlefront Teleport, will take you closer to Konar than any other teleport method. Making Battlefront Teleport tablets is highly recommended. And finally, Mount Kourend is the home of the Slayer Master, Konar, and the Mount Kourend Slayer Dungeon. Along with attractions are the minigames that can be found in Zeah, all of which provide some of the best XP available anywhere in the entire game. If you don't take advantage of these, then you are giving someone else the advantage over you. Be sure to also check out minigames like Blast Mine, Tith Farm, and Mess Hall Cooking. The Blast Mine is a great way to earn mining XP from the otherwise useless dynamite earned from Wintertod. The Tith Farm will grant the best farming XP in the game. The Tith Farm can also unlock the Seed Box, which is a great item to carry with you while doing both farming and Slayer, or even while thieving from master farmers. The Mess Hall has the best cooking XP in the game. Also, be sure to check out all the guilds, like the Farming Guild and the Woodcutting Guild. The Farming Guild has all sorts of patches, all the basics, plus a cactus patch, a redwood tree patch, Celestris seed patch for battle staves, Hespori patch where you can kill Hespori for unique drops like the unlimited compost bucket, and other special seeds. The Farming Guild has many seed patches. The Woodcutting Guild, however, is home to the +7 invisible woodcutting boost. In it, there are normal, oak, willow, maple, yew, magic, and redwood trees. It is also a great place to fletch. The Woodcutting Guild is also the only place on Zeah with a sawmill, which is obviously used for construction. The Woodcutting Guild also is the only place that has tree ants that can be killed for combat XP and logs alike. Zeah appears to have it all. Special attractions, minigames, and guilds, all with some of the best XP in the game, but that's not all. Zeah also has a questline all of its own. While the questline is still incomplete, yet still waiting to confront Xeric himself for his abominations in the Chambers of Xeric and his terrors on the people of Zeah, You can begin to pick up the pieces he has left in his wake by completing some of the quests and mini-quests for some supreme efficiency and best-in-slot unique items on Zeah. Section 2. Quests, Minigames, Houses, and Skills. Quests, mini-quests, and the rewards. While 3 quests have been completed for us already by Jagex, which are Rune Mysteries, Druidic Ritual, and Dragon Slayer, the other Zeah-related quests and mini-quests that will be available are the Client of Kourend, the Queen of Thieves, the Depths of Despair, the Tale of the Righteous, the Forsaken Tower, and the Ascent of Arceuus. The mini-quests are the Architectural Alliance, In Search of Knowledge, and maybe the Bear Your Soul mini-quest. We'll get to that. For the Client of Kourend quest, your main objective is to visit all of Zeah's houses and general stores, so that's the Piscarilius, that's the Lovakengj, Hosidius, etc. and so on. The requirements, just have a feather, any one single feather, and you can complete this quest. The rewards, however, are 2 antique lamps for 500 XP each, which can be used in any skill level 1 or higher. Kourend Favor Certificate, which upon reading it grants 20% favor towards a house of your choice. The Kourend Memoirs, which grants teleports to several places around Zeah based on the respective memoir pages accumulated and added to the book. The memoir pages are granted as rewards from the quests in each of the houses around Zeah. Each memoir page from each house grants a different teleport to that house. The Queen of Thieves quest can be found in Piscarilius. It requires 20 thieving, a stew, which can be obtained during the quest for 6 GP, completion of Client of Kourend, and 20% Piscarilius favor. For rewards, it offers 2,000 coins, 2,000 thieving XP, favor certificate, and a memoir page. Completion of this quest also grants access to the Warrens, which is the only place on Zeah that an Iron Man can buy feather packs in bulk. That's a big tip. The Depths of Despair quest, the requirements are the Client of Kourend, 18 agility, and 20% Hosidius favor. Rewards are 4,000 coins, 1,500 agility XP, a favor certificate, and a memoir page. For the Tale of the Righteous quest, the requirements are 16 strength, 10 mining, the Client of Kourend complete, 20% Shayzien favor, a pickaxe, melee weapon, a ranged weapon with ammunition, runes to cast any magic combat spell, and a rope. The rewards are 8,000 coins, a favor certificate, and a memoir page. Also, 3 Zerician fabric is obtained by killing the corrupt lizardman. The Forsaken Tower quest requirements is the Client of Kourend and 20% Lovakengj favor. For rewards, you can gain 6,000 coins, 500 mining and smithing XP, a favor certificate, and a memoir page. The Ascent of Arceuus quest requirements is the Client of Kourend, 20% Arceuus favor, and 12 Hunter. For rewards, you can gain 2,000 coins, 1,500 Hunter XP, 500 Runecrafting XP, a favor certificate, and a memoir page. As far as mini-quests go, the Architectural Alliance mini-quest requirements is 100% favor in all Kourend houses. For rewards, upon completion unlocks the Xerix Heart teleport on the Xerix Talisman, which will take you to the Kourend Castle courtyard. You will also receive 1 antique lamp, which grants 10,000 experience on any skill over 40 of your choice. In Search of Knowledge mini-quest, the requirements are, well, there are none, but high combat is suggested. Recommended is good armor, food, and a slash weapon to cut the webs. The rewards upon completion, Logozia will reward you with a 10,000 experience lamp, which can be used on any skill over 40 of your choice. You will also be able to gain easier access to the dungeon with a key obtained during the mini-quest. Each torn page earned in the dungeon can now be taken to Logozia in the Arceuus library, and she will pay you 1,000 GP per page handed into her. And lastly, the final mini-quest you may or may not be able to do, it might not actually be able to be completed, because you have to go to the Cerberus lair. Requirements are a spade and a dusty key. For rewards, you get to keep the Soul Bearer that you fixed, and the Soul Bearer will teleport ensouled heads from your inventory to your bank at the cost of 1 blood rune and 1 soul rune. If the Soul Bearer is lost, you can dig in the crypt in the Arceuus church to find another. This item may not be available at all during the Twisted League because part of the quest requires you to leave Zeah and enter the Cerberus lair. Perhaps try digging in the Arceuus church crypt to see if we can find one without the mini-quest? Otherwise, probably just ignore this. The Kourend Houses. There are 5 houses in Zeah, each with their own perks, training methods, and more. Each house visually represents what it is best used for. For example, Lovakengj appears to be a city of rock and lava, and in it you can find some of the best mining and smithing XP in RuneScape. The rest of the houses follow the same suit. Partially completed house favor no longer reduces if you try to do favor in another house, and I don't believe you need to lock in 100% favor anymore either. While it was part of the Architectural Alliance quest to lock in favor by talking to the heads of each house, these steps likely still apply, but will no longer lock favor in, for it is no longer needed. Favor should now never decrease for any reason. Should. Let's now discuss the main points for each house. Hosidius. Hosidius house is important for early game content. 100% favor grants access to the only accessible farming patch in early game. This patch also never gets diseased, therefore your plants will always grow to full health. Hosidius favor also grants access to the Woodcutting guild. In this guild is an axe shop where you can buy any axe from bronze to rune. Rune costs 41,500 gold. There is also a sawmill to begin training construction, as well as normal, oak, willow, maple, yews, magic, and redwood trees, and the guild will give an invisible +7 boost to your woodcutting level while cutting within it. If that wasn't enough about the Woodcutting guild, how about it being a fantastic place to woodcut and fletch, and also to get combat experience? There's a cave entrance which takes you to tree ants, which when killed will allow you to chop their body into random logs, which is respective to your woodcutting level. The favor also unlocks access to the vinery. At the vinery, you can begin to plant grape seeds, and eventually, from the Tith farm, you can also plant Zamorak grapes to make Zamorak wines, and then ranging potions. This is the only way to get a ranging potion on Zeah. That's a tip. It's not truly the only way, but who wants to sit around and wait for the hide random event? Not me. After 15% Hosidius favor and 25 thieving, you can thieve fruit from the fruit stalls for some good thieving XP per hour. The fruit you can get from the fruit stall can be used to make super compost, and likely should be banked for future efficiency. The fruit stalls also have a chance to give you a strange fruit. Zeah is notorious for not giving you good options to restore run energy, so strange fruits can help your account progression go a long way. That's a big tip. Piscarilius. 15 hunters is required to start hunting sandworms, which is the fastest way to gain favor after 30% favor. It is worth noting, if fixing the cranes for favor, nails can be bought at Lean's General Store in Piscarilius. I have seen many people complaining about having to make their own because you use so many while repairing the cranes, but look no further, you can just buy them from the general store. 100% favor grants full access to Frankie's Fishing Emporium, which will have a stock of fish from low-level cooking XP to high-level for endgame content, such as sharks, for extremely cheap. That's a big tip. 100% favor grants the ability to catch anglerfish with 83 fishing. With 20% favor, you can start the Queen of Thieves quest, which is needed to buy feather packs on Zeah. That's a big tip. Can't start barbarian fishing without feathers. With 49 thieving, 75% Piscarilius favor, and Queen of Thieves quest complete, you can take orders from Captain Khalid to steal artifacts from houses within Piscarilius. This off-the-record thieving minigame will earn you coins, Piscarilius favor, and thieving XP for each artifact stolen and then given to Captain Khalid. The XP per hour is based on your thieving level, thus, if not initially, could eventually make this method some of the best thieving XP per hour found on Zeah. However, this method can be very tedious, and XP rates can vary greatly without weight-reducing armor or stamina potions, so try this method if you must. Shayzien. At 20% favor, you can access Bridget's weapons and armor store, which is full of decent weapons that you almost certainly can use. Shayzien House favor unlocks a potential way to get a rune scimitar drop by killing gangs. Arguably, the best unlock, however, is at 75% favor when you can kill lizardmen. For every lizardman killed, 0.1% Shayzien favor is granted. It is wise to finish your Shayzien favor by killing lizardmen. That way you can capitalize on the potential of getting the 1 in 250 Xerix Talisman drop. The other unlock that can be considered one of the best is unlocking the ability to obtain and wear the Tier 5 Shayzien armor. The Tier 5 Shayzien armor will negate all of the poison damage attacks by the Lizardman Shamans. Please note, this does not mean you cannot be poisoned. Rather, his poison attacks will not hit you for massive damage. They in fact won't hit you at all. You'll only just be poisoned. The Tier 5 Shayzien armor is also a very good early armor set. The pieces give bonuses ranging from equivalent to black, steel, and mithril stats, giving them a unique overall armor bonus which places it somewhere between black and mithril. Lovakengj. Lovakengj favor will unlock the Blast Furnace, which can be used to spend the dynamite that you earned from 99 firemaking at Wintertide. The extra ore will help you to get your mining closer to 70, but more importantly, your smithing to 73 for adamant bolts, for creating Ruby E and Diamond E bolts for endgame content. You will also be granted access to the minecart traveling system, granted you chose to gain favor by unlocking them. Lovakengj also provides the closest bank to an anvil by running from the blast mine bank to the anvil in the northeast corner of Lovakengj. Arceuus. Arceuus favor is required to unlock runecrafting training for 1 to 77 runecrafting by hunting down books in the library for runecrafting XP. Arceuus favor is also required to buy runes from the rune shop, while the general store in Arceuus will sell most of the runes needed to any player with or without favor. The Arceuus rune shop, just to the north of the general store, also sells soul, bloods, and stabs. Arceuus favor is also required to buy a fire staff from the Arceuus magic shop, which counts as one of the 3 available warm items on Zeah for Wintertide. Arceuus favor is also required to train your prayer with ensouled heads. It's also required to be able to make Battlefront teleports. Battlefront teleports are made from dense essence blocks while being on the Necromancy spellbook and while having the runes for the spell in your inventory. Take the dense essence block to the building east of the Arceuus bank and use the lectern to create the Battlefront teleport tablets. Using Battlefront teleport tablets helps to save inventory space during later game Slayer and provides the fastest teleport to Konar, except for the teleport directly to Konar from the medium, hard, and elite achievement diaries. However, these teleports are limited. Noteworthy shops and or NPCs. Feathers. Feather packs can only be purchased from the fishmonger or store in the Warrens after completing the Queen of Thieves quest. This quest can only be started after 20% Piscarilius favor. That's a big tip. The infamous early level knife. This is one of the biggest tips in this whole series. While most players think you need 50 firemaking to obtain a knife from supply crates at Wintertide, including all of the Zeah only players that I play with, none of them know this tip yet, until now, and now you all will know it too, but shh. In the Hosidius town center, you can buy a knife from Logava Gricaler's cooking shop. This will be the only place you can obtain a knife on all of Zeah when starting brand new. Fish for food. Frankie's Fishing Emporium has the most amazing deals on fish in the entire game. Finish Piscarilius favor to witness the magic of raw sharks being sold for 210 GP each. That's a big tip. Konar for the Bug Lantern and Broad Bolts. The Bug Lantern can be bought from Konar and Warren with 33 Slayer, and will also count as a warm item bonus at the Wintertide. Konar also sells Broad Bolts to those who have the Fletching level to finish them with feathers. Please note you have to buy Broader Fletching for 300 Slayer points. Broad Bolts do the same damage as Adamant Bolts, and will likely be the range ammo of choice for all mid and high tier players. Who do you get your fishing rods from? Tynan's Fishing Supplies, found in the northeast corner of Piscarilius, sells a small and big fishing net, a fishing rod, harpoon, lobster pot, and fishing bait and sandworms bait packs. Important details about each skill. Training skills on Zeah, while much like training them on the mainland, are much more limited on Zeah as you would assume. In this section, we are going to discuss the key points regarding each skill. I will explain how important they are to Zeah only Iron Man and why. I have made a list of skills listed in the order of most difficult to train and most important to Zeah to least difficult and least important to Zeah. You can surely bet if it's difficult, it is definitely needed for Zeah. However, these skills are listed based on difficulty first, therefore the most difficult skills don't necessarily mean they are the most useful. We will discuss which are the most useful and why as we come to them. Herblore. Hands down, this will be the most difficult skill to train. It is recommended to use Master Farmers and all other herb and seed drops to get this level up as high as possible. Using Genie Lamps, Knowledge Books, or Relics from the Chambers of Xeric may be a good supplement XP method. Herblore is the most important skill in Zeah because without it, so much content is just not possible, like killing Sarachnis, high level Slayer, killing dragons for the best in slot items, chambers of Xeric, etc. If you don't plan on doing any combat, however, Herblore is likely not something you will need often, if at all. With 100% Arceuus favor, you can use the magic shop, which sells water-filled vial packs and Eye of Newt packs. One of the best ways to get herbs in Zeah is from completing many raids, but doing it flawlessly will be the key. Loot from raids can consist of tens, sometimes even hundreds of herbs, but this herb farming method will only be available to those who already have Herblore high enough to make at least the mid-tier potions within the raid. Thus, this will only be available to those who are very skilled, high-level players. Hydras and Drakes also drop lots of noted herbs, but again, this will be for high combat, top-tier players only. Crafting. Shears can be bought from most general stores, and should be an item that you are on the lookout for while visiting general stores for the Client of Kourend quest. Start crafting by shearing sheep's wool in Hosidius, and then taking them to the spinning wheel in the house west of Hosidius and south of the Hosidius cooking range house. Spin the wool to level 10, then pick flax and bank them, both in Land's End. Pick as many flax as you would like to achieve the level you desire. Spin them in the same place as where you spin the wool. Crafting has several training methods on Zeah, from spinning flax to glassmaking, tanning, and crafting leather and dragon hides, making jewelry, etc. It is important to note, there are no gold rocks on Zeah. Therefore, the only way to get gold ore is from blast mine, brimstone chest, and small drops from monsters, and other less prosperous ways. While crafting may have several methods available on Zeah, higher tier gear which is locked behind the crafting skill, such as a glory amulet at 80 crafting, or even a fury at 90 crafting, leveling crafting will be very daunting around 60 to 70. The best training method will be to kill red dragons in Forthos dungeon, and then tan their hides and then make red d'hide items, then alch them, and repeat. This method can only start at 73 crafting when red dragon hide vambraces can be made, and should be the best method to 99. Agility. Agility is one of the most difficult and boring skills to grind out on Zeah, therefore it is recommended to take as many steps as possible to train it effectively and efficiently. I recommend getting all the previously mentioned requirements finished to start Wintertod, and then after 60 agility from Barbarian Fishing, go get 99 Firemaking for all the good loot, and in between games use the pillars along the north wall of the prison to continue getting agility XP. Without 60 agility, however, you cannot use the pillars in the Wintertod prison. If focusing strictly on pillar agility training, it is 25,000 experience per hour and is the fastest agility training method on Zeah. Barbarian Fishing is a decent way for passive agility XP and will require you to get about 150 million fishing experience for 99 agility or strength. For those looking to maximize their gains, Wintertod training is the way to go. However, it is possible to 3-tick Barbarian Fishing with a knife and a mahogany log, or a knife and a teak log. Runecrafting. Runecrafting isn't necessarily hard when using the plugin RuneLite, but it certainly can be a daunting grind initially. Needing 77 runecrafting to be able to start crafting your first runes can make this skill sound horrifying to many. However, it takes just 5,600 Arceuus library books from 1 to 77 runecrafting. Don't get me wrong, this grind normally takes about 60 hours to complete, but with a supposed 5 times XP multiplier, this should be pretty simple for most. Simply find the books that the librarians are asking for, then you should be off to the Blood Rune altar for some serious XP gains. After about 20,000 bloods, assuming a 5 times multiplier on experience, you should be about 90 runecrafting and be able to make soul runes all the way to 99. Runecrafting is essential for any Zeah Iron Man who wishes to do raids and other high tier combat related content, for the access to unlimited blood runes will ensure you are casting the best spells to be casted on Zeah. Don't forget, the Tome of Fire and the Burnt Pages from Wintertod are required to hit the hardest possible with magic. It is wise to make blood runes and soul runes to your desired level before completing your crafting or mining grind, because mining XP and crafting XP is slowly gained while runecrafting blood and soul runes. Hunter. Hunter will likely be quite difficult without completion of Eagle's Peak, because Eagle's Peak allows use of box traps. There are gray Chinchompas that could be caught on Zeah. Players will have to stick with much lower level hunting methods or do aerial fishing for big hunter gains. At 35 Hunter and 43 Fishing, you can go to Moke Island and begin what will likely be the fastest hunter training method, aerial fishing. At level 50 Hunter, the XP rates are about 40,000 experience per hour. XP rates do scale with your levels. Hunter is actually very important for those who wish to excel beyond the normal Zeah Iron Man because barehanding implings at higher levels, specifically Ninja, Dragon, and Lucky Imps, will certainly give your account the type of combat gear boost that will separate from all the others. From the Mystic Robe bottom drops and ranged Dragon ammunitions to potential and early game Amulet of Glory or any other of the major unlocks available from Lucky Implings, getting a high level in Hunter will certainly grant you an edge over most Zeah only players. That's a big tip. Several Hunter items can be found by searching the crates in and around the bank in Land's End, like a butterfly net and bird snares. As of the time when I am making this video, there is no way to get a butterfly or impling jar, so butterflies are not possible to catch and implings must be barehanded. Be sure to search the area carefully though. Jagex may add other obtainable Hunter items during the Twisted League. To hold more than one of the Hunter items found in the crates in Land's End, search the crates until you find one, then drop it on the ground, and repeat. Until you have enough on the ground, then pick them all up. If we are granted the ability to catch Chinchompas, they roam the woods north of Land's End in a small cliffside alcove just south of the Graveyard of Heroes in Shayzien. Alternatively, if you have the patience to find the right raids configuration, with a resource room available upon entry, you can use it to catch bats and then cook them for not quite decent XP, but not quite bad XP either. However, if it is your raid, then perhaps coming here to avoid the congested bird catching areas is wise until aerial fishing. That's a big tip. Fletching. Fletching is a tough skill to train, but luckily, it really isn't needed at higher levels. It depends on what you wish to have on your account. For instance, getting 70 Fletching for the U shortbow is important for getting great range XP. However, it only takes 69 Fletching to make the rune crossbow, and thus, for the average player, 70 Fletching unlocks everything they need to continue progressing their account along. However, depending on your goals and your crafting and smithing levels, you may also want to consider getting a higher Fletching level to make a better hide shield. The basic leather shield is a very low tier and should be made and used by everyone, but for the black dragonhide shield, only players with 90 Fletching to make the redwood shields and 92 smithing for rune nails and 83 crafting to make the black d'hide leather are able to wield the best shield available on Zeah outside of getting an extremely lucky impling drop for a god d'hide shield. Fletching is only slightly important, because while high level Fletching, along with other skills, may grant you the use of the best in slot crafting range shield, it is really only needed for the U shortbow and rune crossbow for the most efficient way to visit the Fletching skill. Smithing. Early level smithing is very hard, but in time, drops from Slayer monsters, brimstone keys, and other sources makes 73 smithing for adamant bolts not too bad of a grind. The only downside is that you have to wait to accumulate the ores through methods slower than simply mining them. However, to mine them all would take ages, so it is recommended to get your smithing up later in the gameplay as the ores are accumulated slowly. Smithing is generally irrelevant until later game, strictly for the use of attaching ruby and diamond tips to adamant bolts. It may not be obvious to everyone, but ruby E and diamond E bolts will be a step above the broad bolts, which will be one of the best in slots for range efficiency. That is, outside of runite bolts, if you choose to spend that much time on smithing. Construction. Construction can be very important to your account, depending how much time you wish to spend on it. How much time you spend on it will dictate how beneficial it can be for you. First and foremost, jewelry molds are not able to be found in Zeah, except for a holy mold, which is found in the priest camp south of Hosidius. The holy mold is actually pretty useless without being able to bless the holy symbol. The blessing is only obtained off of Zeah. But with a tool store 4, you can grant yourself access to all the basic jewelry molds in the game. There aren't many prayer altars found in easily accessible locations on Zeah, so a prayer altar in your house will also help to keep your prayer recharged while on your adventure. The lectern, while upon first glance appears pretty useless, may have a tablet spell or two that can benefit your playstyle. That's a tip. Rejuvenation pools in your player-owned house can be very handy, but like all other construction upgrades, this one too will be a grind to finish. It should be noted, the only way to get stamina potions on Zeah is to get your farming to 85 to grow torstal weeds, or somehow get your hands on a few of them, and then carry one unnoted in your inventory and hope you get the Jekyll random event. If you do, and you have a torstal on you, you will be rewarded with 1 stamina potion. Stamina potions are required for a part of the rejuvenation pool upgrades, so be aware of this hurdle to tackle well before you begin. That's a big tip. Hosidius house favor is required to enter the Woodcutting Guild, where there is a sawmill next to regular trees and oak trees for low-level construction. I recommend getting runes for 100 to 200 teleports to your house, and 100 to 200 teleports on your Jagex amulet, teleporting to your house from the Woodcutting Guild after gathering your logs and cutting them into planks. Use them in your house, then teleport to Jagex Lookout, which will take you just north of the Woodcutting Guild. This is the fastest training method, at least until higher levels, where teak trees are available to be cut behind the farming guild and then banked in the guild. However, once enough teaks are acquired, the player can then simply run to the Woodcutting Guild bank, to the sawmill to cut the teak logs into planks, and repeat the previously specified process. Go to your house, use your teak planks, teleport to Jagex Lookout, and repeat. Thieving. Thieving is practically essential, not because thieving is so important, but because starter money is nice from pickpocketing men or women to level 5 thieving. Then cakes are a perfect food to steal for low level healing until level 25 thieving, but only if you have 15% Hosidius house favor. Then, at 38 thieving, master farmers will forever be a great source of seeds, especially herb seeds, to help increase farming and herblore levels, but we aren't done here. Thieving stone chests at 64 can grant a Jagex talisman at a rate of 1 in 300 and Zarishian fabric, which then at 22 crafting can be crafted into robes or simply for crafting XP alone. This is a decent way to train crafting. However, at 75 thieving, a player can steal from the gem stall in the center of the Kourend Castle courtyard, granting gems for more crafting XP. Thieving isn't important on its own, but depending on the path you plan to take, consider using thieving to make your life easier. For those wanting the fastest thieving XP available in the Twisted League, the stone chests are almost as fast as Arceuus Knights, but if you want even faster XP with a little focus, you can get upwards of 120 to 210,000 experience per hour, depending on your level, by helping Captain Khalid to steal artifacts from the houses in Piscarilius. This method can be very tedious, and XP rates can vary greatly without weight reducing armor or stamina potions, so try this method if you must. Slayer. Begin doing Slayer with Konar at level 5 combat. Konar will no longer assign area-specific tasks, and will assign a larger variety of tasks, surely making Slayer on Zeah to be one of the most fun skills to train. A very large tip incoming about Konar. She will not assign monsters which have not yet been unlocked. This includes monsters such as the Abyssal Demons, Necreal, Gargoyles, Aberrant Spectres, Bloodvelds, Banshees, etc. The reason she won't assign these monsters is because they are unlocked after the player gains access to the Slayer Tower by gaining access to Mauritania. We will not have access to Mauritania, therefore those monsters will never be assigned. Also on that list is Dust and Smoke Devils, because we will never have access to the Smoke Dungeon, and a few other monsters. It is interesting to note, however, we will be assigned dragons with our auto-completion of Dragon Slayer, whereas without Dragon Slayer, those monsters would never be able to be assigned either. Also note, just because Konar will never assign Abyssal Demons or Dust Devils, etc., does not mean we cannot still kill those monsters after we have the required Slayer level. As most should know by now, Slayer monsters can drop high tier gear, such as Rune Boots, Dragon Legs or Chain Skirt, Dragon Chain Body, Dragon Medium Helm, Abyssal Whip, Rune Kite Shield, and more. It is very wise, if going for a high combat level build, to do Slayer as soon as possible and don't stop until at least 85. Some players may choose to go all the way to 95 for Hydras and their unique drops. Prayer. Prayer is actually very important for a Zeah only account, mostly for protection prayers, but also for the added bonus of the Pray Potion recharge, increasing points restored per sip every few prayer levels, maximizing the effects of the Pray Potion itself. Prayer is quite easy to level up. A great method is to camp a monster which drops both big bones and ensouled heads, Burying the bones to 43 with 5 times XP multiplier should not take very long. Then, taking the ensouled heads to the Dark Altar for more prayer XP should take you roughly to about 47 to 53 prayer, depending on if drop rates of the ensouled heads are increased as well. Prayer training after the initial 43 prayer grind will consist of collecting ensouled heads during the Slayer grind and occasionally using them at the Dark Altar for XP. An alternative way to train prayer, which generally requires a much higher combat, will be killing dragons in the Forthos dungeon, collecting the bones, and walking next door to sacrifice them at the altar for the same XP as a gilded house altar. This method is only recommended if the player is also training crafting with the red dragon hides due to issues with efficiency. It's not very efficient to either leave hides on the ground or to have to bank them all for when you do hit 73 crafting for van braces. Much more efficient to do it all at once, crafting and prayer training. Woodcutting. Woodcutting is virtually useless after getting to 70 fletching. The fletching level you're going for depends on what items you want to unlock through fletching, like maybe the black d'hide shield, but for efficiency it is recommended only to cut wood until 70 fletching is achieved for the yew shortbow. See the fletching part of this guide for more info on fletching. Magic. While magic is generally pretty basic and easy to train, it should be considered to be harder than training range because while low-level fletching and low-level smithing can generate plenty of ammunition to get a high range level, money is actually required to efficiently train magic. Magic can be harder because it costs GP, which can be difficult to come by for a fresh account on Zeah, but it's not at all impossible. When training magic, it is not suggested to splash train any of your levels. Instead, use your magic, and your range for that matter, to kill higher level monsters which have common drops that will benefit your account. One good idea is to try to get a steel or mithril axe, or attempt a rune scimitar from fire giants, or rune chain body from black demons, etc. It is wise to kill monsters that have several common drops. That way, if you don't get the drop you want, at least you can sell the others to make some of the money back and buy more runes. Gaining XP is the name of the game, so especially with magic, don't short yourself on the monetarily beneficial methods when training magic. AKA big tip, don't splash. Range. The same tips for magic also apply to range, except in the case of when ranging, remember not to kill things that can one-hit you because you'll want to pick up your ammo after using it, and doing so may cause you to be killed, thus harming your efficiency. Stay safe out there. Ranging should be considered easier than magic simply because you don't need money to do it. However, what you do need is smithing and fletching. Because there are absolutely no range shops on Zeah, that's a big tip. Getting proper smithing and fletching levels can in fact be more difficult than having money. Be sure to set yourself up to have the level you need for making basic arrows before you need the arrows. When getting favor, or when doing other things while playing, try to squeeze in a reason to get some smithing or fletching experience. That way you aren't busy training a skill to a certain level before you can start another skill. This type of flaw early on in an account build can absolutely destroy efficiency and even morale of the player. So, play smarter, not harder. Remember, there are 2 500 XP lamps granted to you after completing Client of Kourend. That's a big tip. Farming. The last of the required focus skills for Zeah is farming. Farming is the only way to get good amounts of herbs for potions and bossing. Farming your own herbs will be key. Without doing this, you are almost guaranteed to struggle getting the potions you need to kill high-tier monsters. While it can be very helpful in the Herblore grind to do farming, having a high farming level will be the most beneficial, and getting a high farming level is one of the quickest and easiest things to have in Zeah, due to the Tith minigame. I recommend farming all the seeds you get from early game and from master farmers, if you choose that route in Thieving, and then using the Tith farm, along with a Hosidius house farm patch, and farming guild patches, to raise your farming level to 85 or higher to unlock everything Zeah has to offer. Reaching 85 should really only take a few hours if playing with 5 times XP rates, roughly 5 to 6 hours I would say, but that's like from 44 at the Tith farm. Otherwise, it takes a few hours to get from 1 to 44. But the Tith farm is very fast. The Hosidius house patch is 100% protected after completing the Hosidius favor, so it is wise to complete this favor as soon as you want to start farming. Firemaking. It is wise to get 50 firemaking and complete 99 firemaking. at the Wintertod before ever gaining a hit points level. I say that, of course, it would be wise if you could get the cape. If you can't get the cape, then you decide what level you want to stop at. Once 50 firemaking is achieved, gather the items needed for killing the Wintertod. Be sure to have plenty of food. Cakes are great food for 10 HP accounts. Without 5 times XP, it takes about 1600 cakes to 99 with 10 HP, so with 5 times, gathering 500 cakes should be a safe bet. You will need an axe, tinderbox, and knife to do the Wintertod. Tinderbox and knife can be taken from the crates at the Wintertod. You will need 50 firemaking to even enter the Wintertod prison. Recommended items are steel axe or better for max efficiency while woodcutting. 4 warm items to negate damage as much as possible, however only 3 can be found on Zeah immediately. The only 3 warm items that will be easiest to get are the Fire Staff, which requires 100% Arceuus House Favor, the Clue Hunter Garb, which is the top, and a Lit Bug Lantern, which requires 33 Slayer to wield. If you are in fact starting at 10 HP, skipping the Lit Bug Lantern is okay to do, as well as skipping the Fire Staff and 100% Arceuus Favor. However, you'll just be hit more often. Getting a Tome of Fire is practically required for endgame content, to allow you to hit extra hard against Olm in the Chambers of Xeric, so you should hope and pray for one before getting 99 firemaking. If you don't get one, however, it may be wise to either stay until you get one, or come back for one in the future, or team up at Chambers of Xeric with someone who has it. These next few skills are obvious skills, and they will level in time without much more effort than a normal non-area locked account. However, there are some things I will point out for each skill. These skills are not listed in any particular order. Attack. It is obvious that having an attack level will grant you the ability to wield weapons, but 70 attack will unlock all the items available on Zeah except the Din's Bulwark at 75 attack. 70 to 75 attack should provide adequate accuracy to kill almost all the monsters on Zeah, except maybe some of the very high tier Slayer monsters, and maybe Chambers of Xeric will struggle a little. Prioritize your attack levels based on the items you can use. For example, in Zeah, you can purchase an adamant short sword, which is as effective as an adamant scimitar, but if you have a rune scimitar unlocked, immediately get to 40 attack to use it. The rune scimitar will be your best in slot item for a very long time, unless you get lucky early on. Strength. Strength can be trained through barbarian fishing, so depending on the way you choose to progress your account, many strength levels can be gained from barbarian fishing. The required strength level to start barbarian fishing is 15. Strength levels around 70 to 80 should be adequate for facing down most monsters on Zeah, including Sarachnis and most high-tier Slayer monsters. However, for Chambers of Xeric or Hydras, 90 to 94 plus strength and an Abyssal Whip or Sarachnis Cudgel is recommended. Defense. Having 60 defense is enough to wear any item you can get on Zeah, excluding the rage drops. Having 75 defense should be adequate to kill almost everything on Zeah, and kill it semi-comfortably, with the exclusion, of course, of Chambers of Xeric or higher tier Slayer monsters. 90 to 99 defense is recommended for endgame content, as this is typical in any RuneScape game mode. Hit points. Hit points will level itself in time, and if you are playing smart, it should be level 99 well before you max your combat stats. Before 92 hit points, Anglerfish heal for 18, but after 92 hit points, Anglerfish heal for 22. It is wise to use Anglerfish as needed to boost your HP above your HP level for endgame content. Mining. Mining can be started in the Piscarilius mine without any favor. However, the rocks here will likely be very full during the Twisted League. Therefore, it may be wise to either wait until later or make your way to the Lovakengj house and try to find some ore there. Or, just south of Kourend Castle is a place to mine some clay for XP. Unfortunately, there are no pottery wheels in Zeah, so the clay is virtually useless to you. While 73 smithing is required to make adamant bolts, and then the Ruby E and Diamond E bolts for endgame content, mining should not be used to get you most of the way there. Instead, as discussed before, use the drops from monsters, brimstone keys, or even blast mine with a dynamite earned from the Wintertod to help get you as close to 73 mining as possible. Then, use mining to get you the rest of the way. Playing your account in this way will ensure you don't go wildly over 70 mining, which is the requirement to mine adamant ore, and therefore you won't be wasting potential efficiency. Getting to 70 mining should be quite simple once you are already 73 smithing. Simply power mine iron ore for your last few levels to 70. As mentioned in the Runecrafting section, small amounts of mining XP will be gained as well while runecrafting blood and soul runes if you decide to take this path in your account. Fishing. Fishing can be very handy. Be sure not to miss this section. Barbarian fishing should get you 80 to 85 fishing while grinding out for 60 agility. From here, you should be able to catch anglerfish, if not already, very soon. And as stated before, they can come in handy at higher levels. However, it is not necessarily wise to catch all the fish you need for combat training if you have a fair amount of money. Depending on how shops will work, if we are guaranteed unlimited supplies, instead of being left to fight with other players in shops over their scalped individual supplies, Frankie's Fishing Emporium in Piscarilius offers food for really cheap after 100% Piscarilius favor. Buying fish from Frankie's, there is a quick banking method for those who want to bank their fish, then cook it later on the Hosidius range for the reduced burn rate effect. Frankie's offers a variety of fish for very cheap, including raw sharks, which cost an average about 210 each. For those with 100 to 200k plus cash, buying your fish from Frankie's is likely your best bet when gathering food for Slayer. However, for those looking for cooking XP, let's move on to the next skill. Cooking. As just discussed, Frankie's Fishing Emporium offers very cheap fish to players who have 100% Piscarilius favor. There is a cooking XP method which can help to rebalance your cooking and fishing level after barbarian fishing. Simply buy the fish you wish to cook from Frankie's, run west to the first cooking range you see on your minimap, cook the food here, then run a short distance directly east to the general store and sell it all. Or bank it if you must. Banking your food vastly takes away from your cooking XP per hour and is not recommended. So sell your food to the general store, then run east again to Frankie's and repeat until you reach your desired cooking level. Once you reach your desired cooking level, it may be wise to bank the raw fish from Frankie's first, then take it all to the Hosidius range, which reduces burn rates to get the largest amount of return for your cooked fish. Section 3. Unique Zeah items, max tier gear, and stats required for max tier content on Zeah. Unique drops, items, and monsters. Sulfur Lizards. Sulfur Lizards are a low-level monster that requires 44 Slayer to kill. They drop loads of ores and can be a decent source of nature runes. The ores obtained from Sulfur Lizards are all noted, which makes this a great monster to train at low combat levels while gaining smithing XP and nature runes for the future. This is potentially a pretty big tip. Dragon Sword. The Dragon Sword is a 1 in 2,000 drop from worms, if on Slayer task, and 1 in 10,000 if you're not on a Slayer task. If a player is lucky enough to get the Dragon Sword from the worms, they may find it very useful as a weapon to use over the rune Scimitar before hitting 85 Slayer, or as a weapon to use before getting the Dragon Warhammer or the Sarachnis Cudgel. Its stats are near identical to the Dragon Scimitar, and hits your opponent at the same rate too. The difference is, it's a stab weapon instead of a slash weapon, but at lower combat levels, this is a minor detail. The Dragon Sword is also very useful in successfully completing the Voss and Asterio room in the Chambers of Xeric by being the most powerful stab weapon on Zeah to take out the crystals. The Dragon Axe. If a player is lucky enough to receive this item from Wintertod, they will have the best in slot axe on Zeah. This item is useful for woodcutting and fletching efficiency, as well as chopping the tree efficiently in the Mutadiles room in the Chambers of Xeric. Unfortunately, the Dragon Axe is a 1 in 10,000 drop from Wintertod, and that is the only way to get it on Zeah. If drop rates are increased, however, possessing this elusive item may be greatly increased as well. The Tome of Fire. The Tome of Fire is only dropped by the Wintertod, at a rate of 1 in 1,000, making this item much easier to acquire than the Dragon Axe, but still yet quite elusive enough to not be gotten by everyone who achieves 99 Firemaking. This item will be extremely useful in raids, for both the Ice Demon boss and for killing Olm's Mage Hand, and thus acquiring one yourself or teaming with someone who has it is wise. Burnt Pages. Burnt Pages are dropped from the Wintertod decently often, but not so often that they can be farmed in 20 minutes. Collect and save as many burnt pages as you can on your journey to 99 Firemaking. They will be needed to add to the Tome of Fire. Adding them to the tome is what will give your fire spells the damage increase to enemies. The Tome of Fire can hold 1,000 pages. Each burnt page grants 20 charges to the tome, and 1 charge is consumed each time a fire spell is cast. When the tome is charged with even 1 page, it actually acts as an offhand staff by providing unlimited fire runes. Non-combat actions like High Alchemy will not consume any charges from the tome. This means wielding a Tome of Fire with at least one page in it, and the Mud Staff will grant unlimited fire, earth, and water runes, only leaving you needing to carry air runes for damage spells. Use these tips to help you in both Slayer and Chambers of Xeric. Dragon Harpoon. The Dragon Harpoon is another 1 in 2,000 drop from Worms, if on Slayer task, and 1 in 10,000 drop if off task. It is the best in slot for fishing sharks and other harpoonable fish. It is not required, but it's a nice upgrade from a regular harpoon. The Dusk Mystic Robe Top. The Dusk Mystic Robe Top is significant. This will be the best in slot item, granted you are lucky enough to pull it from the Brimstone chest, until you unlock the Ancestral Robe Top, if you're that lucky. For most players, the Ancestral Robe Top will never be obtained. The Dusk Mystic Robe Top is a 1 in 1,000 drop from the Brimstone chest, thus making it maybe just as rare as the Ancestral Robe Top. The next best in slot magic top is the Xerishian Robe Top. Dragon Hosta, or should I say the Broken Dragon Hosta. This item may be obtained from the Brimstone chest as well, with the drop rate also of 1 in 1,000. It is completely useless, for upon receiving it, it is broken and must be taken to Otto the Barbarian to be fixed, and you must learn how to use hostas from him as well. Unfortunately, this item will likely just be a prize item, used for taking pictures of and posting them to Reddit for memes, nothing more. Uncut Dragonstone. These can be dropped by any monster who has access to the gem drop table, which is likely most of the monsters you will encounter, and it can be obtained at any time. It is up to you what you do with it. While some may use it to make a Ring of Wealth immediately for its help in picking up coins from every monster slain, others may choose to wait until 80 crafting to make a glory. Just be aware, they can be dropped at any time. It is wise to think about how you will use it when it is dropped. Also, if you are skilled enough to kill Skotizo without the Arclight, he has a common drop of 10 noted Dragonstones as well. Brimstone items. Brimstone items are dropped from the monsters found within Mount Karum Slayer Dungeon and can be combined to make either the Brimstone Boots or the Brimstone Ring. The Brimstone Boots require 44 Slayer, 70 defense, magic, and ranged, and combining the Boots of Stone with the Drake's Claw. Drakes are only available at 84 Slayer, making these boots have a minimum requirement of at least 84 Slayer instead of 44. These boots have the highest stab attack bonus in the entire game. The Brimstone Ring is made by combining Hydra's Eye, Hydra's Fang, and Hydra's Heart, and these items can only be obtained from Hydras at level 95 Slayer. The ring has no other requirements to wear and provides a combined offensive and defensive stats of the unimbued Archers, Berserker, Warrior, Seers, Treasonous, and Tyrannical rings. Shayzien Gear Tier 5. This gear can be earned while completing the Shayzien House Favor, and the Tier 5 gear can be worn to negate massive amounts of poison attack damage from the Lizardman Shamans during the Dragon Warhammer grind. It is recommended to get this armor early in your gameplay because it will provide defensive bonuses similar to Black, Steel, or Mithril, depending on which piece of Shayzien equipment you are wielding. The defensive bonuses will likely be key in early gameplay due to our lacking ability to buy or earn good defensive gear. Xeric's Talisman. This item is a must-have, and the player must get it as soon as possible for ease of access around Zeah. One way to get this item is to get 75% Shayzien favor, then kill the Lizardmen for 0.1% favor each kill, with the 1 in 250 drop rate of the Xeric's Talisman. After 100% Shayzien favor, however, the Lizardmen Shamans can be killed as well, if you're up to it. Shamans also drop the Xeric's Talisman at a rate of 1 in 250. The other way to get the Xeric's Talisman is to get 64 Thieving and steal from the Stone Chests. The Talisman drop rate from Stone Chests is 1 in 300. It doesn't require any favor and is virtually pretty safe. However, it's wise to bring a couple pieces of food and a couple anti-poison potions for when you are teleported back outside and into Lizardman Fire. The Lizardmen can poison and deal 7 points of damage in a single attack, leaving you open to take roughly 13 damage in a single tick, if you get really unlucky. No matter the method you choose to get the Talisman, the most important part will be having Lizardman Fangs to use for teleporting. Each Fang grants 1 teleport charge to the Talisman and should be added to the Talisman to use it. All 3 methods will grant you Fangs on your way to put into your Talisman when you finally receive one. Finally, if you receive a second Xeric's Talisman, you can break it down and receive 100 Lizardman Fangs in return. Battlefront Teleport Tablets. Battlefront teleports will be an essential item to have. You can make them with dense essence blocks and the runes required for casting this teleport spell from the Necromancy spellbook. The Battlefront teleport is the best and closest teleport to Kourend and will be handy while doing Slayer. The tablets free up 2 inventory spaces that runes would have otherwise filled if teleporting to the Battlefront with Necromancy spellbook. If using the tablets, then you won't have to have the Necromancy spellbook while doing Slayer. Instead, you can use other spells like High Alchemy to aid you in your Slayer efficiency. Herb Sack. The Herb Sack can be obtained from Kourend for 750 Slayer points. The Herb Sack is an absolute must if you intend to be as efficient as possible. The Herb Sack will allow you to store up to 30 of each grimy herb in it before being full, thus making it a great item to have while on a Slayer task. It is not wise to leave any herb on the ground while playing Zeah only, because herbs are not easily obtained on Zeah, unfortunately. This is due to fewer farm patches than the mainland, and due to the type of Slayer assignments you are given. See Section 2, Details about Skills, Slayer, for more important information regarding what tasks Kourend will and will not be able to assign. Rune Pouch. This item can be purchased from Kourend for 1250 Slayer points, and it can hold 16,000 each of 3 different runes. The Rune Pouch is recommended to help save inventory space in the Chambers of Xeric and other high-level events. The Seed Box. This is a great item to carry with you while doing both farming and Slayer, or even when thieving from Master Farmers. You can unlock this from the Tith Farm minigame for 250 points. It can hold up to 6 max stacks of seeds. That's 2.147 billion of 6 different seeds. There's no limit. The Soul Bearer. This item can be unlocked from the Bear Your Soul mini-quest if we are allowed to complete it. The Bear Your Soul mini-quest takes you off Zeah to Cerberus Lair, so obtaining this item may not actually be possible in the Twisted League. The Soul Bearer will teleport ensouled heads from your inventory to your bank at the cost of 1 blood rune and 1 soul rune. The Dark Totem. The Dark Totem is an item that can be created by combining the Dark Totem base, middle, and top. All 3 components can be found by killing monsters, excluding the ghosts, in the Catacombs of Kourend. An assembled Dark Totem can also be obtained from Skotizo. Contrary to what the wiki states, you do not have to assemble the totem pieces into a Dark Totem to continue receiving totem piece drops. The Dark Totem is used to access Skotizo's lair beneath the Catacombs of Kourend. Skotizo kills are not required for maxing your gear on Zeah, but Skotizo can certainly lessen the length of your grind with some of its drops. The most notable Skotizo drops are 40 Raynor Seeds, 10 Uncut Dragonstones, 1 Uncut Onyx, which is a 1 in 1,000 drop, and the Pet Skotos, which is dropped at a rate of 1 in 65, which is likely an elite Twisted League task. Tattered Pages, Moon, Sun, and Temple. These are dropped by monsters only found in the Forthos dungeon and are used in the In Search of Knowledge mini-quest. After the mini-quest, however, each torn page in the dungeon can now be taken to Lagozia in the Arceuus library, and she will pay you 1,000 gold per page handed into her. Clues. Clues will likely be a major game changer in the Twisted League, because all clues dropped will only have clue steps on Zeah. Clues can unlock equipment which is either best in slot or better than the best in slot items that can be obtained in Zeah. See Section 3, Raid Ready Max Gear, for the list of best in slot items for the Chambers of Xeric. Radha's Blessing. Radha's Blessing 1, 2, 3, and 4, and reward unlocks. Radha's Blessing is earned from the Easy Kourend and Kebos achievement diary as a reward. Radha's Blessing 1 literally gives 0 bonuses to anything, and it's not recommended for efficiency. However, it is likely you will be rewarded league points for unlocking it. This should be very simple by the time you are a mid-level account. For Zeah Iron Men, it is not possible to advance any further than the Easy Diary because the medium tier requires the use of fairy rings. However, it appears in the list of league tasks that Jagex provided on their initial content post. An example of a task you will have to complete for league points. They say you will need to complete the Kourend and Kebos Elite Diary tasks, thus we can assume all diary tasks will be available to be completed in the Twisted League. So, Radha's Blessing 2 gives +1 prayer bonus, Radha's Blessing 3 also gives +1 prayer bonus, and Radha's Blessing 4 gives a +2 prayer bonus. Each tier of achievement also unlocks other abilities. Radha's Blessing 1 also unlocks 3 daily teleports to the Kourend Woodland, a 2% chance to catch 2 fish at once, everywhere when equipped, No additional XP will be granted, however, for the extra fish caught. And it also unlocks increased Xeric's Talisman drop rate from 1 in 250 to 1 in 125. The stone chests will not be included in this increased drop rate. This drop rate increase applies to both Lizardmen and Lizardmen Shamans. Radha's Blessing 2 also unlocks everything from the previous, plus 5 daily teleports to the Kourend Woodland, a 4% chance to catch 2 fish at once, free access to Crabclaw Island, a 5% chance to mine 2 dense essence blocks at once, 20 free dynamite from Tyrus, and reduced tanning prices from Eodan in Forthos Dungeon from 8 times to 6 times the cost in Al-Kharid. Radha's Blessing 3 also unlocks everything from the previous 2, plus unlimited teleports to the Kourend Woodland, 3 daily teleports to Mount Kalrum, this is probably best for Slayer, 6% chance to catch 2 fish at once, ability to use a Slayer helmet as a Shayzien helmet 5, even though we can't get our hands on a Slayer helmet unfortunately, 5% increase to yield from Hosidius and farming guild patches, 40 free dynamite daily from Tyrus, and another further reduced tanning price from 6 times to 4 times. Radha's Blessing 4 also unlocks all the previous 3, plus unlimited teleports to Mount Kalrum, which will be a major benefit, 8% chance to catch 2 fish at once, 20 Slayer reward points per completed task. This will also include a boost to all the other point streaks and bonuses from Konar, 10% reduced burn chance at Hosidius Kitchens, this is up from the original 5%, 80 free dynamite daily from Tyrus, 10% additional blood runes when runecrafting bloods, protection from the burn effect while in the Kalrum dungeon, the boots of stone will no longer be needed at this point, and further reduced tanning prices from 4 times to 2 times the initial cost in Al-Kharid. The Kourend Memoirs. The Kourend Memoirs is an equipable book that gives +1 prayer bonus. It is obtained from the completion of the Client of Kourend quest. Pages obtained from completing each quest in each Kourend house grants the ability to access teleports to each house. However, the teleports are difficult to recharge and may not be as beneficial as it sounds. Pearl Rods. Pearl Rods are equipable fishing rods which can be obtained as a reward from the aerial fishing minigame on Malk Island. None of the rods give any stats, and they all attack at the speed interval of 5, which is the same as a longsword. It is very likely Jagex will not provide us with a barbarian fishing rod. Instead, we will likely have to earn an equipable one from aerial fishing. Fair warning, this will suck. Aerial fishing requires 3500 and 43 fishing to start. Weapon Poison ++. This can be applied to spears, knives, including any dragon knives, etc., to increase damage efficiency. Hespori Seed. The Hespori Seed requires 65 farming to plant, but you can obtain one at any level simply by farming your patches, or from seed pack rewards from the farming guild. There is no easy way to farm these seeds, however, at higher farming, about 65 plus, Hespori Seeds can be obtained quite often from medium tier seed packs. Bottomless Compost Bucket. The Bottomless Compost Bucket is dropped by Hespori at a rate of 1 in 35, and it will hold 10,000 uses, but only requires 5,000 compost to get 10,000 charges. Each compost provided creates 2 compost charges when placed into the Bottomless Compost Bucket. Dynamite. This item is generally accumulated from getting 99 firemaking at Wintertide, and can be used in the Blast Mine to help with your future 73 smithing grind for adamant bolts. Dynamite can also be collected daily from Tyrus at a rate of 20, 40, or 80 per day depending on which Kourend and Kevos achievement diary you have completed, medium, hard, or elite. Ancient Shard. Ancient Shards are obtained from monsters found within the catacombs of Kourend, excluding the ghosts. While the Ancient Shards cannot be used on the Darklight to make an Arclight, since as a Zeah only Ironman the Darklight is not available, they could instead be used on the altar in the middle of the catacombs to teleport you to the 4 corners of the catacombs. Each teleport costs 1 shard. That's a handy tip. 99 Capes. We still do not know if 99 Capes will be available in the Twisted League. However, 99 Capes give a buff according to the skill cape which you are wielding. For instance, a 99 range cape will also act as an Ava's accumulator. Each 99 cape gives bonuses equivalent to the Obsidian Cape. 2 99s will grant you the ability to wear a trimmed cape, which also gives a +6 prayer bonus, plus all the other defensive bonuses, plus the set skill cape's effect. The full farming outfit. The farmer's outfit can be obtained from the Tip Farm minigame for a total of 400 points, and it will give a 2.5% bonus XP to farming when wearing the full set. The full fishing outfit. The fishing outfit can be obtained from the aerial fishing minigame for a total of 400 Mulk pearls, 100 pearls per piece, and it will give a 2.5% bonus XP to fishing when wearing the full set. Obtaining this armor set will take a very long time, and it is likely not recommended for efficiency. Ancient Tablet. The Ancient Tablet is an item that can be obtained from the Chambers of Xeric, which, when used on the Xeric's Talisman, will grant you the ability to use the teleport called Xeric's Honor, which will teleport you straight to Mount Quidamortem Bank. Using this teleport one time will count for one charge on your Xeric's Talisman. This drop, while it may be listed as a common, is likely not worth getting until you are raid ready. There are two other alternative methods to get to Mount Quidamortem, one of which is using the Lovakengj minecart system, the other being escorted by the mountain guide, which can be found next to the western Shayzien wall, opening to the Lizardman Swamp. You must talk to the other members of his expedition on Mount Quidamortem to unlock the ability to quick travel with the mountain guide. Raid ready level requirements. None of these levels are necessarily required, but I do not personally recommend trying a raid until you, at the very least, have most of them. If you understand the reasoning behind each level I discuss, however, I do recommend circumventing these requirements as much as you can. For example, if you don't have 77 runecrafting, then you should have 10 million in cash that you are willing to blow quickly on blood runes from the magic shop in Arceuus. If you don't have 85 Slayer, then you should have 95 plus melee stats with a cudgel and a warhammer, etc. The first of the recommendations is 90 plus attack, strength, and defense. You'll want this to do sizable DPS in the raid while negating a fair amount of damage. A skilled raider should be able to get through the Chambers of Xeric without much issue with 90 plus stats. 90 plus range, also for DPS. 75, 79, or 87 magic. 79 for Entangle in the Mutadile room and other areas. 87 to enchant Onyx for the potential Onyx drop from Tecton, and 75 magic will grant you the ability to use Fire Wave, and so this will be the bare minimum you will want so that you can help with mage damage. 80 Prayer. At 80 Prayer, a prayer dose will give you a +1 extra prayer point restore over 79. Likewise, it will give you a +1 extra prayer point restore over 77. Don't stop prayer at 77, get 80. 93 or 99 Hunter. 93 Hunter allows you to barehand dragon implings, which can drop you an Amulet of Glory. I recommend this item, but it is not an absolute requirement. 99 Hunter, however, allows you to catch the lucky implings. These can drop a whole bunch of items which are better than what you can get on Zeah. Catching a few lucky implings before Chambers of Xeric is recommended if you are lucky enough to see it and catch it. 64 or 75 Thieving. These thieving levels are meant to aid you in your crafting grind, but are not required for the chambers. The crafting level of 83, however, is strongly recommended for the Black Dragonhide chaps. 73 or higher agility. High agility in general will help you to keep your run energy longer, thus making you more help to your teammates in the chambers. 85 plus Slayer. For the best in slot, Abyssal Whip. 77 plus Runecrafting, to make your own blood runes. 78 or 90 Herblore. For regular overload potions and top tier Xeric's Aid pluses and revitalization plus potions, or at 90 for top tier overload plus potions, as well as top tier Xeric's Aid plus and revitalization plus potions. 70 Mining, to mine your own adamant ore, to then smith into adamant bolts and make ruby E or diamond E bolts. 73 Smithing, to make the adamant bolts for the ruby E and diamond E bolts. 83 Cooking, to cook anglerfish if you feel that's necessary. 83 or 90 Crafting. 83 Crafting for the best in slot Black D'hide chaps, and 90 Crafting to create the Onyx Amulet to then enchant into the Amulet of Fury. 55 Farming is the highest level farming level you will need in the raid, and that will allow you to grow all the herbs in the chambers. Raid Ready Max Gear. Firstly, it is rumored that Jagex is going to slightly nerf the Chambers of Xeric, since you can't obtain normal game high tier gear like the Blowpipe, best in slot magical staves, and the God Wars gear. None of those will be accessible on Zeah. This is a list of all the max gear you can get before starting the raids. I will also tell you how you can get it and the drop rate of the item if it is a dropped item. Sarachnis Cudgel. This is a best in slot crush weapon. It has better stat bonuses than the Dragon Warhammer and swings at the same rate as the Abyssal Whip. The Cudgel is even best in slot over the Whip in some monsters who are weak to crush, like Sarachnis herself, and others, like Tecton perhaps. The Cudgel is dropped by Sarachnis, found in the Forthos dungeon, at a rate of 1 in 384. The Cudgel has no special attack. The Dragon Warhammer. This item is dropped by the Lizardmen Shamans at a rate of 1 in 5,000, making it very rare. The scarcity of prayer potions in Zeah will also make this item even more scarce. The Dragon Warhammer special attack, if the hit deals damage to your opponent will lose 30% of their defensive stats. When used on Tecton, even if the special attack hits a 0, it will still reduce 5% of Tecton's defensive stats. The Dragon Warhammer can also be used to stun the jeweled crabs in the Chambers of Xeric, and it also doubles as a hammer to build any storage chest while in the Chambers of Xeric. The Abyssal Whip. The Abyssal Whip is the best in slot melee weapon in most cases on Zeah. Everyone should know this item comes from the Abyssal Demons at level 85 Slayer. A quick tip, a wild pie can be consumed to boost your Slayer level by 5, making it possible, though unlikely, to get a whip at 80 Slayer. Also, the Slayer's Respite can boost the Slayer level by 2. The wild pie can be obtained by barehanding Eclectic Implings at 60 Hunter. Dragon Medium Helm. The Dragon Medium Helm is dropped by several monsters, including Brutal Dragons, Sarachnis, Lizardmen Shamans, and more. You should be able to obtain this item on your trek towards 85 Slayer, or on your trek toward the Dragon Warhammer, but it is certainly not guaranteed. Dragon Chain Body. This item is dropped by Dust Devils at 67 Slayer at a rate of 1 in 32,768. It is extremely rare and likely will take the full 2 months allotted for the Twisted League to obtain it. The Dragon Plate Legs or Chain Skirt. These can be dropped by any Metal Dragon or the Brutal Black Dragon. The Steel and Brutal Black Dragons drop both the Chain Skirt and Plate Legs at a rate of 1 in 512, while the Iron Dragon is a 1 in 1024, and the Bronze Dragon is 1 in 2048. These are the only sources for these items. Rune Boots. At 80 Slayer, Necreal can drop this item at a rate of 1 in 116. The Rune Kite Shield. This item is the best in slot shield for melee defensive bonus, and it is dropped by the Warp Jellies at 52 Slayer at an unspecified rate. They are classified as a rare, so roughly 1 in 100 can be expected. Combat Bracelet. This item is the best in slot for the glove slot, and can only be made through crafting at 75 crafting, then enchanting the bracelet. 99 Cape or a trimmed 99 Cape. If Jagex allows us to purchase 99 Cape somehow, then a 99 Cape will grant the same bonuses as an Obsidian Cape. A trimmed 99 Cape can be obtained after getting 2 or more skills to 99. A trimmed cape provides the same defensive bonuses as the untrimmed cape, but it also gives a +4 prayer bonus. 99 range is recommended for the Ava's Accumulator effect that the 99 cape provides, granted you did not select the Abyssal Accumulator relic. The best D-Hide shield possible. The black D-Hide shield is technically the best D-Hide shield possible, without lucky implings, but requires 84 crafting to make, along with 89 smithing to create the rune nails, and 92 fletching to make the redwood shield. It is suggested to make the red or the blue D-Hide shield instead, in order to be more efficient with your time management. Black D-Hide chaps. These can only be player made at 82 crafting. There are no monsters that drop the black D-Hide chaps. The black D-Hide body. This item is dropped by the Brutal Black Dragons, which requires 77 Slayer at a rate of 1 in 64. They can also be player made. Black D-Hide Vambraces. The easiest black D-Hide item to obtain. The black D-Hide Vambraces are dropped by Dust Devils at 65 Slayer, Brutal Black Dragons at 77 Slayer, and by Drakes at 84 Slayer. They can also be player made. Ruby E, Diamond E bolts, and Broad bolts. At 55 Slayer with 55 Fletching and unlocking the broader Fletching with 300 Slayer points, you can make broad bolts. With 70 mining and 73 smithing, you can mine adamant ore, then smelt and smith it into adamant bolts unfinished, and then with 61 Fletching, attach feathers to make adamant bolts, and then with 65 Fletching, you can create the diamond and ruby bolt tips then attach the bolt tips to make the ruby and diamond bolts. Then, with 57 magic, you can enchant both to make diamond and ruby enchanted bolts, reaping the effects of both against high-level, endgame monsters and bosses. The Rune Crossbow. The Rune Crossbow must be made by killing iron or steel dragons for the rune limbs. The rune limbs drop from iron dragons at a rate of 1 in 25.6 and from steel dragons at a rate of 1 in 16. With 10 crafting, the player can kill a cow and cook the meat into sinew, then spin it on a spinning wheel to make crossbow string. With 69 fletching and 60 woodcutting, you can cut a yew log and fletch it into a yew stock. You could then combine all three items, the runite crossbow limbs, the sinew, and the yew stock, with a hammer in your inventory to make a rune crossbow. Snakeskin boots. With 84 hunter, you can barehand a ninja impling for a 1 in 19 chance of receiving the snakeskin boots. The mystic hat. There's only one way to obtain a mystic hat, and that is a 1 in 1000 chance of receiving the dusk mystic hat from the brimstone chest. The next best in slot is the Zerishian hat. Mystic robe bottom or Zerishian robe bottom. Like the last item, the only way to receive a mystic robe bottom is from a 1 in 1000 chance of receiving it from the brimstone chest. The next best in slot is the Zerishian robe top. Mystic robe bottom. There are a couple of ways to receive this item, again, as a 1 in 1000 from the brimstone chest, or as a 1 in 512 from a deviant specter. A blue mystic robe bottom can also be received at a rate of 1 in 19 from barehanding a dragon impling at 9300. Mystic boots. The only way to obtain mystic boots is 1 in 1000 from the brimstone chest. There really is no other best in slot behind the dusk mystic boots. However, the boots of stone provide a small defensive buff without negating magic attack bonus. Mystic gloves. There are several sources for the mystic gloves. They drop from twisted banshees at an undisclosed rate of rare, but I assume they are likely a 1 in 256 or 1 in 128 drop for dark mystic gloves. Sulfur lizards also drop white mystic gloves at a rate of 1 in 512. Finally, brimstone chests also reward dusk mystic gloves at a rate of 1 in 1000. The rune pouch. This item can be purchased from Karnar for 1250 Slayer points, and it can hold 16,000 each of 3 different runes. The rune pouch is recommended to help save inventory space in the Chambers of Xeric and other high-level events. Amulet of Glory. This item can be made by a player with 80 crafting and enchanted with level 68 magic. This item can be dropped by barehanding dragon implings at 9300. The Tome of Fire with burnt pages. This is slightly an optional item. The Tome of Fire, as previously discussed in this guide, is a must-have for at least one, if not everyone, in your raiding party to help do massive damage to the Ice Demon and the Olm's Mage Hand. The drop rate for this item is 1 in 1000 from Wintertide and should not necessarily be expected before 99 Firemaking. The Tome of Fire, when charged with at least one page, also acts as an offhand for unlimited fire runes for non-combat spells. The Charged Tome of Fire also gives magic defense bonuses and makes it a great item to use while casting magic. Charges will not be consumed when casting magical damage attacks that are not fire-based attacks. Section 4. Getting started on Zeah properly. A sample starting strategy walkthrough. The 3 relics. Before we discuss the relics, it is very important to note Jagex told us the buffs from these relics may still change before the Twisted League begins. It would be wise to build your account to be efficient even without a relic to start with, just in case a relic is totally eliminated, or all relics are made to be unlocked later, or whatever the case may be. With that being said, let's discuss the relics presented to us in their news post. The Abyssal Accumulator. You save 80% of your ammunition and runes. For Endless Endurance, your run energy drain rate is reduced to 0 and your prayer drains at half the speed. And the Dark Altar Devotion. The bones dropped by creatures are automatically buried and award 4 times the experience. And soul heads now drop 2 at a time. Keep in mind, if Jagex does implement a overall broad stroke 5 times experience to all skills and all experience gained, this would then make the Dark Altar Devotion reward about 20 times the XP by automatically burying bones, so that could be pretty handy. potential starting paths, and a strategy for mid and late game. For the Abyssal Accumulator. Starting with the Abyssal Accumulator means you will save 80% of your runes and range ammo when used. This means you will most likely be interested in jumping directly into combat training to reach a high combat level before those who pick one of the other two relics. This may be a great way to get yourself loads of early game league points, with league points slowing down toward later game content, but you will certainly have the jump on everyone else for higher tier combat activities. Endless Endurance. Starting with endless enemies means your run energy will never run out. This also means your prayer points will deplete at half the normal rate, thus extending your capability to protect yourself and do damage to enemies. This path will be more for the balanced player who starts first with laying groundwork for the account, like doing quests, skilling, and then eventually getting into combat training. This relic will give you the edge over the other two relics if you plan to do a lot of quests and skilling early on. Dark Altar Devotion. This is going to be a very interesting one to discuss. While most people believe that this one's probably pretty useless, I don't know, there might be a use for it here, so let me explain. Starting with Dark Altar Devotion means you are likely interested in having a high prayer level much sooner than other players. Using this perk likely means you plan to also immediately jump into combat training, and that you also plan to get such high combat so fast that you are going directly into the raid with a group of friends and are banking on unlocking the dexterous or arcane prayers. This could actually be a good idea, considering there are other relics that will be available for unlocks after a set amount of league points is gained. If you and your team have all the relics unlocked, rush combat training, and then rush raids, you may actually be sitting very pretty. It really is hard to tell, however, so please decide which relic is best for the way you would normally play RuneScape. Doing this will ensure that you experience the Twisted League the best way that you can. Unless, of course, you really want to change up your pace, then maybe the Dark Altar Devotion relic is for you. The Sample Twisted League Strategy Outline. I strongly recommend that all players develop their own strategy. This strategy has holes in it, and will still likely be followed by many people, making it crowded and difficult to be efficient. Please use this section as an example of a strategy outline only. So to start off, complete the tutorial island. Choose your relic. Start to do the Client of Kourend with Veos. Pick up seaweed or snapegrass on your journey to sell for money. Run to Hosidius' house and kill a chicken for a feather. Loot a few chickens for items to sell. Pickpocket men or women if you see them for money. 100 GP should be enough for now. Go to Hosidius' general store for a signature. Before leaving Hosidius, in the main center, trade Logava Gricoller's cooking supplies for a knife, then trade Vanna's farming stall for a spade. Shayzien general store, Jennifer, for Client of Kourend. While there, buy the bronze axe, a tinderbox, hammer, and a chisel. Get 50 firemaking and fletch a few logs for starting cash. You only need 1000 GP to buy a house. Go to Piscarilius mining spot for 195 copper and 195 tin. Visit the Piscarilius general store and get a signature for the Client of Kourend. Go to Mount Karum after 15 mining to mine 1000 iron ore. Use the furnace here at the top of Mount Karum to smelt all the bars. Mine iron and coal for 3 steel bars to make a steel axe. Go to the Lovakengj anvil and make bronze armor pieces to sell for 1500 gold total. Otherwise, make bronze and iron knives to 31 smithing, then make the steel axe. 195 bronze bars should equal 15 smithing, 1000 iron ore should equal 31 smithing, then you can make a steel axe. These figures are based on a 5 times XP rate. This could easily change. While in Lovakengj, buy an iron, steel, and mithril pickaxe if possible. You likely won't have enough money, so find ways to make more money first. Go to Lovakengj General Store for a signature for the Client of Kourend. Visit Arceuus General Store for a signature for the Client of Kourend. Complete the Client of Kourend, put 1 XP lamp on construction and another on whatever your choice, range, crafting, you name it. Put free favor points on Piscarilius. Get 100% Piscarilius favor. Complete the Arceuus favor to 100% to buy a fire staff from the magic store. Get other warm items such as the Clue Hunter garb. Steal about 1200 cakes. Then go to Wintertot until 99 firemaking. Try to get level 5 Herblore from making rejuvenation potions to make anti-poisons for a later step. Use resources from the wintertime to start farm runs for Herblore XP. Continue thieving cakes for food, for Slayer and Master Farmers until Lizardman chests. Train crafting with flax and bowstring until I can make full Zerishian robes. You will need to buy a needle and a thread somewhere along the way. Make and bring 2 anti-poison potions. Then thieve Lizardman chests and get the Xerix Talisman and Zerishian cloth from the Lizardman chests. Then make full Zerishian robes. Buy runes to get magic up, so you can do ensouled heads soon. Get to 72 magic eventually for the maximum ensouled head, which is the demon heads. Surely you can use the dragon, but it's like 95 magic. Make some battlefield teleport tabs at 23 magic. It teleports to South Kourend. Requires 1 law, 1 earth, and 1 fire rune. Shouldn't need any law runes for any other teleport on Zeah. Get a Slayer task. Train magic while doing Slayer. Train range while doing Slayer. Train melee once decent melee gear is acquired from Slayer tasks. Continue doing your farm runs the whole time you're doing Slayer. Between now and 85 Slayer, do things necessary to improve efficiency, like Sarachnis, getting drops from other monsters, etc. Do Slayer until 85 Slayer, get the whip, and then go ahead and maybe try to attempt your first raids run. Section 5. Conclusions. Continuing your Zeah success. Hopefully, by now, your mind is at least a little blown, hearing about the excess of content that Zeah has to offer, and all the new ways to play this game. If you have learned anything at all, please leave a like on this masterclass video. I've put a lot of time and effort into creating this for you to use, and I would greatly appreciate it. If you want even more information, please join my clan chat at Zeah Hero. I also have a playlist of Zeah guides that can give more information on the more nitty-gritty info regarding the content found on Zeah. Also, I do plan to stream my Twisted League process on Twitch. If you would like to follow along, just search for Zeah Hero and don't forget to follow so you know when I'm going live. If you have any questions or concerns, if you don't know how to contact me in any of the other places I just mentioned above, ask me right here in the comment section. I'm an open book. While I may try to hide my exact starting strategy for the day of Twisted League release, I would be happy to answer any other questions at any time. Thank you for watching, happy scaping, and good luck with the Twisted League. Take care, guys. Bye.